Getting chased by a stranger in the night while jogging was truly a terrifying moment when I thought I would have never escaped from that moment. I was jogging alone at night around my neighborhood, which I usually do in my free time, trying to stay healthy as possible. Where I lived was a very big resident area, having enough room to run 1 to 2 miles long every time I'm out there jogging. I was only exactly 19 years old at the time when this event took place. Never have I told my friends before about what I have experienced except only telling my parents. It was a foggy night during the last minute when the sun had gone down, and I didn't know why I still wanted to go jogging outside just because my neighborhood feels safe. I'm much of a person, you can say I love being in shape to stay healthy when it comes to saying about going out for jogging. Well, I lived in a very neat neighborhood, which you can say people who are living there are very wealthy and spoiled like myself growing up under two parents who were able to support me at the best times even through my hardship times. My parents both worked together in the same hospital. My dad is a doctor, and even my mom was also a doctor too. They met in college at a very young age after high school and got married afterwards. They didn't have me yet until after graduating from college, which I am their only child in the family. My dad used to warn me many times about being very careful when running at night outside because I'm still a young girl. He often says no matter how safe it feels to me in whatever circumstance, try to not do it often, which I occasionally still do behind his back a lot of times when he's not home from work. I often do this almost every day, and nothing happens to me since I have kind neighbors who make it feel safe for me to do so. Even I would find some of my neighbors doing the same thing too at the same times I go out. When living in a safe neighborhood will never make you worrying much about being able to go outside to jog, I keep telling myself. I remember that day is a foggy night, so not a lot of them are running outside. I usually go running for an hour or two before coming back home. Dad and Mom are busy working for the night, so I'm always alone at home watching TV or chatting with my friends on the phone, like going through social media. A friend of mine did ask me to go out to hang with her earlier in the day when the sun was still out, but I wasn't much in the mood today for hanging out because I went out all night yesterday and skipped my running routine. I didn't want to end up skipping on running today. I wanted to work out for the night and enjoy the rest of my day in the house. I usually double my workout routine when it comes to days that I have skipped. My neighborhood block surrounds over 10 houses sitting across from each other. I frequently make runs throughout 2 blocks all the time for the best out of me, but I tried to challenge myself today to go on 3 blocks. Furthermore, seeing how much I can push myself. I used to do tracks in high school too. I always love running a lot growing up, having to become the 3rd fastest running girl in my team in my class. My fastest mile run is 5 minutes and 10 seconds in high school. Now, you know why I love running so much, trying to challenge myself to get better. Mom always says run like the wind whenever you get chased by a stranger or something scary like a pet. I would laugh when she says that even though I have never experienced that before. I can never imagine being chased by a dog, which would frighten me. I had my earphones and tights on with a sweater on top after leaving my house. My sneakers were light, so I would be able to jog smoothly throughout the neighborhood. I was running outside for an hour after the sun went down. While running, I was talking to my friend on the phone. She kept saying if I can just come by for an hour, it is better than running like a loner outside in the foggy night. I kept rejecting her and saying it was my exercise day when I skipped it yesterday. My friend wasn't much of a fit person like I am because she loves movies. So do I at that time? She was drinking and talking to me before I hung up. I ran past the 2nd block and headed to the 3rd block. It was so foggy that I barely could see the pole lights shining through the mist. I keep challenging myself to go longer because I'll have all night to run by myself here. since nobody is around doing the same thing as I am. It makes me feel less nervous not seeing people doing the same coming out to jog, along doing what I do. On my way to the end of the third block, about 20 minutes after the sun goes down, heading to my third time around the third block, I happen to almost slip and fall on a plastic water bottle, lying on the side of the road that was drink halfway. The grip of my right shoe rig scrapes onto the floor. I stood there and rested for more than a minute before I began running again. I took off my earphones and put it back into my sweater pocket. My body was very warm up and it felt perfectly running on that cold night that second. The sound of the wind made me feel relaxed, while concentrating on running through the neighborhood at the further end. I then come running past a black car parking on the road. This was right across from the neighbors. I can smell a cigarette right when I pass by that car. Then, I happen to see a strange man who was standing at the front of the car. The smell of cigarette came from him smoking. He wore a blue sweater and had a cap uncovering his eyes. I just ignored him at the second. I knew he was staring at me that second when I was running. I tried to maintain my speed, so I wouldn't get too tired trying to get away from that car. I had a feeling he was watching me because when I ran past him seconds ago, I swear, I did see him certainly eyeing back. My phone rings suddenly. I took it out to see who it was calling me that time. I accidentally tripped over the sidewalk without watching my footsteps. This made me fell onto the grass with my phone bouncing onto the road. It goes clashing onto the ground, damaging a part. The battery goes flipping out of the back of my phone. The phone screen appeared all cracked though. My right elbow was hurting a little after the fall. That injury happened when I landed it first onto the ground on the grass. My body did go rolling around one time. I slowly got up feeling the pain from my elbow as I held onto it. A few feet away, I have to walk over to get my broken phone and battery on the road. My phone was damaged badly. It wasn't working anymore. I put the battery back on. The screen appears in white only when I turn it on. I wasn't able to dial any number nor see who was calling me earlier. I told myself I needed to get home right away because I'm hurt and my phone was broken in the foggy night. Suddenly, I heard the car engine start from behind, sounding like I was just more than just hundreds of feet away from where it was parked. I was so scared, seeing the beam light on through the fog appearing not far from where I was standing. I didn't know what to do and ran into the mud on the side of the road and hid on my knees behind the bushes about 2 yards away from the grass where I fell moments ago. The black car I saw earlier comes stopping by the spot I had fallen down earlier, and the engine then turns off. It appears to be an old 1960s black Mustang. For at least 5 minutes or more, nobody came out of the car either. I was shivering cold behind the bushes, trying to hold my breath because I didn't think anyone would be able to know or see me if I was being abducted here. The door of the car opened, squeaking in low noise. The stranger stepped out of the car and went around to the front of his car slowly as he was lighting up a new cigarette. My face froze in the cold, gazing at him behind the bush. He stares around like he was looking for someone, or was he looking for me, I thought. I am suggesting he's aiming for me that second because I'm the only girl who was running out in the night alone. He appears around to be at least 5 feet and 10 inches tall, having an average body size. I tried to stay as low as I could and not make a sound of movement. My legs were shaking a lot. I can't believe this was happening. I don't know what to do if he finds me. The stranger stood there for more than a minute or two before walking away down the street by just leaving his car behind parking next to the side of the road in front of where I was facing. It was a bad night when I finally realized I had my phone broken too. I cannot call anyone. It became a nightmare. Just like my father used to say to warn me all the time, I feel so helpless to myself at the moment. I'll have to just find a way to try to get out of here immediately. What if he comes back? I tell myself. I can't keep hiding here. Both of my knees gotten so dirty sitting on the mud. I gently stood up a little and kept on peeking over the bush that I was hiding behind to see if he was coming back or not before getting up on my feet. It was cold and the temperature must have been very low at the moment of this night. I hesitated and waited for another 30 seconds before getting up. I then walked quietly as I can, trying to get around to the sidewalk, quietly being cautious as I can. I took a quick look at the car from where I was standing and saw there was nobody in the car. Somehow the key was left in the ignition though. I remember he went straight towards the middle neighborhood, so I took the right side path and headed towards my neighborhood. I tried to power walk silently as fast as I can through the fog and keep watching my back every couple of seconds. If the stranger would be right behind me. My body was shaking in fear, telling myself, I need to get back home right now, no matter what. When I had gotten closer to my block, I suddenly stopped. I didn't just stop for something. I stopped because I found the stranger standing by the stop sign on the edge of the sidewalk. He didn't see me, though, being too busy lighting up another cigarette apparently. I moved back away by walking backward, deeper into the fog, so he would not be able to see me from the shadowy mist. I watched him just looking around like he was looking for someone, or was up to something in my neighborhood. I kept telling myself I should just try to sneak far behind before I reached my house, which is the third house down to the left side of my block. I'm scared if he catches me sneaking from behind, or turns around since his car was this direction, where I am now. On the other hand, I thought I should make a longer way around to the second block to come back to my house from the north. Unexpectedly, I heard a dog barking ahead from my neighbor's block. I can hear his footsteps walking back, this way sounding louder and louder like he was power walking. I then moved backward as fast as possible. I then turned around and ran to the middle block neighborhood as fast as I could without looking back at the same time. I can hear his footsteps far from behind, sounding like he was chasing me. I took a right into the neighbor's driveway on the third house to the north when I was able to go around a black van parking there, so I hid there. The stranger wasn't seen behind me. I thought he may have lost me or was heading back to his car instead. I sat there on the floor and looked under the car to check if I could see his feet walking past. I'm pretty sure he must have lost me or wasn't sure that was me he was chasing. I felt a little relief after a couple of minutes, sitting there taking a breath slowly over and over. My heart was pounding fast, like I sprinted a half a lap to get here. I then looked again under the car with my mouth dropped open this time. I now see the stranger's feet walking by the house sidewalk where I am hiding behind the car. That second my mind felt lost, not knowing what I should do, and kept my eyes on his feet walking by the sidewalk. I crawl around to the front of the car the second the stranger walks past to the back of the car towards the next house. I hid behind the car and avoided him seeing me hiding. For a second, I think I better not go that way and make my way back to the south. I sneaked away from the black van and saw him still walking towards the next house, looking left to right. I walk as fast as I can to head south, then once. I get into the fog from him not being able to see me. I sprint my way on the corner to go around to my neighborhood block. I ran as fast as I could this time and tried to not look back, thinking about what my mother told me to run like the wind. I wouldn't dare to glance back knowing it was my only chance to escape back home. I heard a car coming behind me with a light beam on. I couldn't believe the stranger had gotten to his car already and chased after me. I ran so fast to my house, cutting the front lawn grass. The stranger pulled into the driveway of my house the second I was pulling my keys out. I didn't try to look back, unlocking the top lock, panicking to get the right key. Then the car beam light turned off before the engine did. I was so scared to be lifeless, panicking to open the lower lock of my doorknob. I heard the footstep, approaching nearer right behind my back, and his hand reaching to my shoulder. I fell onto my door, covering my face, mourning when I saw it was my dad only as I held my breath a second after, trembling. He just came home from work and parked his car there right when I was running onto the lawn minutes ago. The whole time I thought it was the stranger who would have gotten me. My dad knew I was awfully scared to the point there was no life in me. He comforted me the whole night until my mother came home from working overtime. I told them everything that happened during my jogging. Dad reported to the police, and ever since that, this never happened again. I stopped going out jogging at nights, especially on foggy nights. Thanks to my father, who was a good father to warn me a lot about things like this to happen. For whoever you are out there, please always be careful if you ever experience the same nightmare I did. Now I learn.